Hey guys, it's Relay DJ, and this week I asked 100 jammers what they think the rarest item in Animal Jam is. In today's video, we're going to go over the responses. We'll look at what the responses were, which responses were the most common, and how these responses compare to the Animal Jam Worth wiki. AKA, is the rarest item according to the community actually the rarest item in the game? Let's get started. Now, from the 100 people that took part in my experiment, I got 33 different responses of different items, which means a lot of the people that partook in my experiment actually said the same thing. So to add a little bit more suspense to the video, I'm going to start with the items that only got one vote and work my way up to the one that got the most votes, which a total of 17 out of the 100 people that partook all think is the rarest item in Animal Jam. The 16 items that only got one vote, so the 16 unique votes, which I guess we'll have to consider as outliers in that sense, are black headdress, the pet bear, the pro baseball cap, the magenta cat hat, the magenta short collar, magenta double tail, slime yeti face, Cammy's frog, light up ring, pet seal, pet dove, beta helmet, alpha sword, magenta sheep cloak, third glitched ring, and magenta heart locket. Now, that's not to say these items are not the rarest in the game. As I said in the introduction, we will be comparing this list with a list of the items in order of what they're worth on the AJ Worth wiki at the end of the video, so definitely stay tuned for that. But those were all of the items out of the 100 participants that only got one vote. I'm also going to note here, as I'm going back over this video to edit it, that I am aware that there are other magenta items that are more this pink colour, but none of the jammers that I actually spoke to specified that the item they were saying was the rare hot magenta rather than just plain magenta. So unfortunately this time I did have to assume they were talking about the regular magenta colour, even though a lot of the time the hot magenta colour is rarer. As for the answers that got 2 votes, there are 8 of those, and those are the pet sloth, the founder's hat, a black long collar, a magenta furry hat, fennec fox, horse coin, toilet, and party hat. The 2 items that got 3 votes were the magenta necklace and the blackout elf tail. And with 4 votes, we've got the light pink headdress and the magenta candy cane socks. Now moving on into more high stakes territory, the pearly tiara got 7 votes, and with an equal 7 votes is the headdress. Now, I allowed headdress as a response on its own without specifying the colour, as I thought it was representative of the fact that some members of the community actually don't know the order of the headdress value, which of course helps us to show even further the subjectivity of rarity, which is sort of the purpose of this video. Now you'll see when I reorder this list in accordance with what each item is worth according to the AJ Worth wiki, that I do actually include headdresses on the list as a range. So I give it a number in its minimum worth, and I also give it a number in its maximum worth, and it's worth sort of anywhere between those numbers based on the colour, but I did allow headdress as a sole response. Moving on now to the top 3 rarest items in Animal Jam as voted by the community, we've got in 3rd place the Milky Tiara with 9 votes, the Beta Eyeball with the pink colour in the middle, that's got 14 votes, and in 1st place with 17 votes, we've got the Beta Creature Mask. So here on screen now is a really quick recap of all of the items we just went over and their popularity in order. So you've got the Beta Creature Mask at first, and all of the ones with just one response last. So feel free to pause the screen back then if you wanted to recap more slowly, but now we're going to move on to the worst of these items according to the Animal Jam Worth wiki, and how this actually changes the order. Now, just to preface this, the order may have changed by the time you're watching this, and what's more, many of these items, especially as we get to the top of the list, have equal value to each other or have just an unknown value as of this time, but of course I will always point this out to you. The Animal Jam rarity system in general is extremely complex because not only is it based on how many of these items are in the game, which is the traditional meaning of rarity, but it's also based on how in demand these items are. Therefore, it's extremely difficult to make a list like this of these items, as I was trying to do it at times based on very little information, but overall I was trying to do it based on how many of these items are known to be in the game. Therefore, of course, everyone is super entitled to their own opinion, and you guys are more than welcome to disagree with me or correct me in the comments if the values have changed at your time of watching. Let's get started. So in at number 33, the item considered the least valuable on this list is the Cammy's frog, which at this moment is worth 4 den beaters. Then moving up to 32, there's the pet bear, which the value of this is debated. It can be worth between a decent short and a decent long, but it depends who you ask and also the colour variant of the pet bear. After that, we've got the Light Up Heart Ring collection, which can be worth between a decent short and a black long collar. However, people do seem to be overtrading for these at the moment, so the worth isn't set in stone. After that, in place 30, we've got the black long collar, which is worth 35 den beaters or 2 red longs, etc. Then in 29th, we've got the Founder's Hat, which is worth 1.5 black long collars. Now here, around 27th place, is where the headdress comes in, with the lowest one being valued at around 4.5 black long collars, which is the Rare Item Monday headdress. So keep that in mind, although its value does go all the way up to 20th place, which we will soon get to with the light pink headdress. So around 27th is where the headdress starts. In 26th place, we have the Alpha Sword, which at the moment is currently worth between 7 and 8 black long collars. In 25th place, we have the Pet Seal, which again, like the Pet Bear, it does have a large range and people will say lots of different things, but it's around 8 black long collars, which is joint with place 24, which is the Pet Dove, also worth, at a minimum, 8 black long collars. In 23rd, we have the Pet Sloth, which is worth, at a minimum of 10 black long collars. And in 22nd, we have the Magenta Sheep Cloak, which is 20 black long collars as of this moment. In 21st place, we have the black headdress, which is worth 24 black long collars. And in 20th place, we have the light pink headdress. So that is the end of the range of the headdress, as it's currently worth between 45 and 48 black long collars. In 19th place, we've got the magenta furry hat, and I actually didn't realise there were 3 different versions of these, but going with the least valuable, it's 53 black long collars, and because the gemmer didn't actually specify which one, I'm just going with this one, which I'm pretty sure is the original, but do correct me if I'm wrong. In 18th and 17th place, we actually have a tie, both worth around 75 black long collars, and those are the magenta short spiked collar and the magenta candy cane socks. Now this 16th place mark is actually where it starts to get a lot hazier, because we're going into the territory of being worth 100 plus black spiked collars. So the values of these may change, they may have already changed by the time this video is out, and also they are incredibly subjective. But as far as I know, these items do have multiple of them in the game. So yeah, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but in 16th place, worth 100 plus at the moment is the horse coin. In 15th place, also worth 100 plus, is the toilet. But here you can see in the comments of this clip I'm inserting here, there is a lot of debate about both of these items, and it's more towards what a jammer is willing to trade for it rather than an actual prescribed value. Also, to my knowledge, these items didn't actually have pages on the Animal Jam Worth wiki, so I actually just had to gather what people were saying in comment sections and what other websites were saying. So sorry about the discontinuity between sources, but it had to be done in this case. Now in 14th place, we've got the professional baseball cap, which was worth 120 plus black long spike collars, which again, it doesn't actually have an official page on the Animal Jam Worth wiki, so all of this information was once again from comment sections and the Animal Jam general wiki, and it was only available for a very short amount of time on the Animal Jam French servers through a promo, which is why it's so rare. In 13th place, we're getting hazier again, worth 200 black long spike collars, is the Beta helmet. Now, after 13th place is where it gets really tricky, because these items all the way up till number 1 actually cannot be valued. So the Beta helmet, although it's at 13th place, is the last item on this list that has a listed specific value, which is why it's there. The rest of this list is ordered by known quantity of the item to be existing in the game at this current moment. So the item in 12th place to 9th place has 2 or more of that item, and then from 8th place to 1st place there is only known to be 1 in existence. So as I will point out very soon, a lot of these items are actually equal in rarity but may be valued by the individual differently. So in joint 12th and 11th place, only known to be a few, which we can gather is more than 2 items in the game, are the Milky Tiara and the Beta Eyeball. In joint 9th and 10th place, which are equal as there are only known to be 2 of these existing in the game, are the Beta Creature Mask and the Magenta Cat Hat. Now 8th, 7th and 6th on this list are again all of equal value, but I was hesitant even to give them a value on this list as they are currently, according to the Animal Jam Worth wiki, under investigation, which I assumed meant there were very, very few of them in the game and they could be removed from the game, if not have already been removed of the game, and those items are the Magenta Double Tail, the Slime Yeti Face and the 3rd Glitched Ring. Now, if anything is likely to be really, really wrong on this list, it's these items, because there is so little information about them at this current moment that they simply don't have a value and cannot yet be given a value. So these items here are the most subject to change, but I put them here on this list because we do not know how many of them there are in the game, and so I assumed it's likely to be either 1 or 2, which, in accordance with ranking them by number, this is where they would fit in, but this could be very subject to change. Items 5 to 1 on this list are also equal, as there are only known to be 1 of each of these items in the game. So without further ado, in 5th place on our list is the Magenta Heart Locket. In 4th place is the Magenta Necklace. In 3rd place is the rare pet Fennec Fox. In 2nd place is the Blackout Elf Tail. And in 1st place, we've got the Pearly Tiara. So once again, here is a super quick recap for you guys. We've got the list on the right that we just made from the most rare to the least rare, and on the left hand side we've got the list we made before, which was the most popular answer to the least popular answer. So what can we conclude from this video and from these 2 lists? Well, for me, I think it's that the Animal Jam rarity system is even more complex than I first thought. The items that we perceive to be the most rare are actually not the least common items. So the Beta Creature Mask is perceived to be the most rare by the jammers, but there are actually more than 1. And on an even crazier level, the headdress, which got 7 votes, and the light pink headdress on its own, which got 4 votes, both of which are right at the top of the most common responses to what's the rarest item in Animal Jam, are actually almost right at the bottom, or at least on the lower side of the list of the most to least rare according to the Animal Jam wiki of our 100 responses. And what's more, in reverse, the items that are right at the top of the most to least rare according to the Animal Jam wiki list are not necessarily the most well known about. A lot of the items on this list are actually super niche, which is probably why some of them didn't get a lot of votes, because in order to even know about these items in the first place, you'd have had to have played the game for a very long time, or been online at a very specific time, or watched a specific YouTube video, or stumbled across a wiki page about it just by chance. So as a result, the most voted for items as the rarest items in Animal Jam are part of the Extreme Beta collection simply because they're very well known, they're very well documented, even though they still don't have a specific value because they are so rare. A lot of YouTubers, Jambassadors have talked about them, they've been in circulation for an extremely long time, and I think that's why they got the most popular vote, even though they are not quite the rarest, simply because they are not one of the kind. So does this mean the community are wrong in saying that the Beta Creature Mask and the Beta Eyeball are the rarest items in Animal Jam? Well, I think that's not really the case. In its traditional meaning, rarity of course does mean the least common, but in Animal Jam, as I said in the introduction, the rarity system is so complex because it's also influenced by value and what people perceive their value to be, despite how common they actually are. Because at this point there are so many magenta items and one-of-a-kind magenta items circulating around the game, they're simply just not as sought after at times. The Extreme Beta collection is so unique and has so much history to it that even though a lot of these other items are one of a kind, I think as long as everything stays the same in terms of the Extreme Beta collection and they are still sought after by the people in the game, that they will remain being viewed by the majority of the game's population as the rarest items in the game. Anyway, I hope you guys have really enjoyed this video because I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to like, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe, and let me know if you want more videos like this in the future. I'm thinking of making it into a series, so let me know if asking 100 more jammers a different question about something in the game would interest you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.